Rejection hurts, but only if you let someone else's validation impact your happiness and your sense of self-worth. Hi, my name is Jay, and over the last 5 years, I've worked with hundreds of people, helping them overcome the fear of rejection. And I've done that through a process of inner transformation. So what is rejection really about? And if you dig down into the fear of rejection, why does it feel like the world is ending when we get rejected? Why is it so painful? Because if rejection means that if you show up as your real self, and if you get rejected, that means that people are not choosing who you really are. That if you show up as the real you, that people are going to abandon you. Well, that is world ending. That is massively painful. Let's talk about what rejection really means. Because I remember, I think throughout my teens, throughout my 20s, and even now sometimes, when I get rejected, like if you think about it, there's so many people out there, entrepreneurs, people looking for their romantic partners, people looking for friends, people even in their own families, their whole lives, all of their behavior is is designed, or rather centered around avoiding the fear of rejection. I did this all the time. I remember back in my teens or in my 20s, when I would go and speak to women. I remember this was one of the biggest fears, that I would get rejected by a woman. And for a long, long, long time, when I was younger, after I broke up with my first girlfriend in college, I just never ever approached women. Even when I did it, I did it half-heartedly. I did it without being my true self. It was sort of like a performance. And when you don't show up as your real you, people can tell. Like when you're talking to clients, for example, let's say you're an entrepreneur and you're talking to clients. I went through this experience when I first started my business about 5-6 years ago. And I would talk to clients on the phone, and every time I got rejected, first of all, I was dreading it. Oh, here it comes. Here's the rejection. Here's the rejection. Here's the rejection. I remember that feeling so vividly. And every time it happened, because when you fear it's going to happen, that weird thing that it actually ends up happening. You start focusing on the rejection and you get the rejection. My emotional state would just drop. Like, I would just feel horrible. And instead of moving on and talking to the next client, getting on the next phone call, I would need to take a break, because I'm like, shit, I don't want to feel that way again. I need to get back to normal before I go and talk to the client. So rejection has a huge impact, but it's not rejection really, it's the meaning that you give it. Because if you give the meaning to rejection, that this is the reflection of my self-worth, that if I go out and talk to this person and express what I want, or express an idea, or pitch my product, or say that I love you, or whatever, and this person rejects my advance, says, no, I don't want that, that means that I'm not good enough. That says something about my own sense of worth, my own sense of value. But what if all it meant was that this person and you are not aligned in this context, in this situation, right? That it's not about your value or your self-worth. It's just that there is incompatibility here, that this is not one of your own people. In fact, let me give you a crazy idea, like a totally crazy idea. What if everyone isn't supposed to like you, that you're not supposed to be liked by everyone around you, everyone that you know? Maybe there are friends that you have right now, maybe there are clients that you have right now, maybe your partner, your current boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife, maybe you're not completely aligned with them in every way. And I know that can be hard to hear. I know that can be painful, because that kind of brings up the same fear of abandonment. But really, all it means is that there's a lack of compatibility. It doesn't say anything about you. It doesn't say anything about your self-worth. It doesn't say anything about your shine as a person, your soul, your gift, your beauty. I know people who are such amazingly beautiful people, but they'll dim their own shine just so that they can be around other people, around their friend group, without getting rejected, just so that there's some form of belonging, just form of acceptance. But the problem is, the more you try to perform and change yourself, right, to belong somewhere, the more you are not belonging to yourself, the more you're letting go of who you really are, your true needs and wants and desires, your authenticity. And so the fear of rejection for me, as I grew older, I realized that all it was an incompatibility, a misalignment in with this person in this context. That's all it was. Does that mean that I can't find some sort of alignment with that person in some other context? No, I could. Does that mean that there's not somebody else who would love me and want to work with me or be with me or be friends with me exactly the way I am right now? No, I'm sure there's somebody else. And that's the message that I want to bring to you. But the fear is real, right? It's still, even after knowing this in your head, like I remember, this is something that I realized, and it was something that one of my mentors once told me. And I knew it, like in my head, I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense, but it just doesn't feel any better. And if that's you, if you still have, even after knowing, rejection has got nothing to do with your own self-worth, even after you kind of know it in your head, you don't feel it in your body, that you still feel that sense of dread around certain people or while doing certain things. Maybe you're an entrepreneur that wants to grow your business, but you just can't get on sales calls, just can't, you just can't pitch yourself the way that you want to pitch yourself. Maybe you have trouble asking for more money because you're just like, I can't. But what if they say no? What if my clients leave me because I'm charging them more now? Or what if my group of friends don't include me, they stop inviting me to parties, or they stop hanging out with me? Or what if this person who I really, 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 really want to continue being part of my life, what if this person decides to leave me because I actually express what I want? And so even if you know all of these things and you still feel that fear, you still feel like, shit, I cannot handle this person rejecting me, it's too painful, it feels like my world is ending, it's too much. And if that is you, then I have a gift for you. There's something that's going to help you identify why you feel this way. What's the reason behind it? What's the pattern? What's the secret code? What's the map? So that you can actually find your way out of this emotional maze, this home that you've created for yourself of feeling like you have to like everyone else. It's a belief, right? You have to be liked by everyone else. It's a belief. It's a belief, and it isn't true if you don't want it to be true. So if you want to live a more authentic life, if you want to be okay being rejected and be okay with doing the things that you really want to do, grow your business, find that romantic partner, find true friendship in your life, find peace, be okay with being yourself. If you're looking for that, then I have a gift for you. There's a link in the description that I'd like you to go click. It will lead you to this amazing assessment that will tell you all about your most deepest fears, your innermost subconscious beliefs, your patterns. And if you do that test, by the end of it, you'll get a report which will tell you so much about your patterns, so much about these unconscious drives that are taking your life to a place that you don't want it to go, and how you can change that. And maybe I might even give you an option to have a one-on-one discussion with me about it, because I know how rejection kept me from shining my light. For the longest time, I've been wanting to reach out to people and share what I know, but the fear of rejection stopped me from creating videos just like this one. And maybe, somebody's gonna comment on this video saying that they hated it. Maybe there's somebody's gonna comment on this video saying that they loved it and it really related and resonated with what they're going through in their life. All it means is that with one person I'm aligned and with another person I'm not. And you know what? That's okay. Thank you very much. This is Jay. Remember, if you like this, press the like button, subscribe for more videos. I can't wait to see you at some point in my life. I can't wait for our paths to cross, especially if you align with this. Really, really happy. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.